Hi everyone. I wanted to do a quick video on thesis statements. I'm currently looking at your thesis statements and giving feedback on those, and I just want to make sure everyone understands what we are working toward. So I am logged into our class right now. It is week 7 in our announcements here, and I want to show you first of all the creating thesis statements document that I had you all read before completing your journal. So what you're working toward right now is your working thesis statement, which means it might change, but you have an idea of the argument you are making and your reasons or causes or effects, which will become the points in your paper. So what you need to understand about a thesis statement is that it is not an introduction. So an introduction gives background information, it explains things about the issue, it gives a lot of extra information. A thesis statement is 1 to 2 sentences, and they should be succinct, meaning they should be brief. That should summarize the entirety of your argument, meaning it should contain your opinion about the issue, and it should contain an idea of your reasons, your causes, and or your effects. It is also the last sentence of your introductory paragraph or paragraphs. So let's look at an example really quickly. This is a student example under Student Examples, Essay Number 1 Argument. Modern society holds countless financial, political, religious, sexual, and cultural differences than ever before, and marriage has essentially failed to recognize the 21st century. So in this thesis, the student conveys her points first. This will be a major point in the body of her essay. This will, this will, this will, and this will. And then she states her opinion. So don't feel like it has to be, opinion first and then reasons, or opinion first and then effects. Word it how you wish, but it should contain both your opinion and your points. Here's another example. Students should participate in extracurricular activities because they will benefit from higher self-esteem, people skills, and increased academic performance. In this one, the student stated her opinion first and then named her reasons next. So those are the 3 main points in the body of the student's essay. Okay, so make sure you go back and look at this example if you haven't already, so that you can understand what it means to create a thesis statement. So the other thing I want to look at briefly is the example that I told you all to look at before creating your thesis statement. So this is a student research essay. So this is an 8 to 10 page research essay. This is what you will ultimately be working toward throughout the rest of the semester. So this research essay has a thesis as the last sentence. It's highlighted of the paragraph that is her introductory paragraph. That is her entire thesis statement, and it names each of her actually, in this case, it's effects, because it's positive effects of having a plan and being prepared for an emergency. So those are all listed here. And then what I've done here is highlighted the fact that she's taken the first effect and explained it as the first sentence of the first paragraph of the body of her essay. And then she'll go on and do the exact same thing for the second effect that's listed in her thesis statement. So that's how your thesis provides organization for your entire paper. Once you've figured out all the points in your thesis, then you will also know in what order those points will come in the body of your essay, because that's the same order that they're listed in your thesis statement. So when I give you feedback on your thesis statements, that's what I'll tell you is, you have to figure out what your thesis statement is first, or at least a working thesis statement, so that you can then figure out what you're going to say in the body of your essay. One other thing I want to take a look at, and that is the example journal. The example journal asks you to talk about the topic, the issue, your opinion, your reasons, and where you'll find research. And then last asks you for your thesis statement. So in this case, it states the student's opinion first, and then the reasons for that opinion, or in this case, it's actually effects again. So it's beneficial. Also benefits employees and employers. So these would be positive benefits of maternity leave and paternity leave. Okay, so when I'm asking you for your thesis statement, it should be short. It should be one, see, like in this case, one sentence, or if you really need it to be, it could be 2 sentences long, but it is a brief summarization of your opinion plus your reasons, or your opinion plus the effects, or your opinion plus causes, or your opinion plus causes and effects. So either way, it's short. It's 1 to 2 sentences long. I'm going to show you too what I mean by shortening your thesis statement. So the thesis statement that you created, actually, let's go back to this one. So the thesis statement you created should be the thesis that you will be using for your entire 8 to 10 page research paper at the end of the semester. So it should be long. It should include all of your possible reasons or effects or causes, okay? But once I have approved that thesis statement for you to work on this topic for the rest of the semester, you should then try to shorten it for this first part of your research, which will be a 4-page argument where you only have to use 2 sources as support. You are welcome to use more than 2 sources, but 2 sources minimum. So in this case, the opinion would remain, so we'll keep employers should allow female employees to have longer maternity leave and also allow paternity leave for fathers. And then we'll choose which reasons we're going to keep, or which benefits in this case we're going to keep. So maybe we'll keep it's beneficial for the child's emotional and physical health and the parent's emotional health and opportunity to bond. But we'll take this off. We won't put this into the essay that we begin writing immediately, which will be a 4-page essay that will then take these first 2 benefits and explain them in the body of the paper and support them with sources and examples and statistics and whatever kind of evidence we want to use. So that will be your entire 4-page paper. Okay, so we won't mention this last one at all. Okay, but then we'll take this last one after we're finished with the 4-page paper and I've given you feedback on that and you've gotten a grade for it. And we'll add this last benefit back to the thesis statement to create a longer thesis statement. And then you'll add these points to the body of that 4-page paper you've already written. So you have extra points now in the body of your paper and makes your paper longer. And you can add more research to it and more support. And you might also be adding more people that might argue with you. So you might be addressing more opposing opinions because of the new point you've added. That would hopefully then create 4 extra pages so that the idea is that you're not writing a 4-page paper with this entire thesis. Okay? Because if you're writing a 4-page paper with your entire thesis that you've just proposed for Journal 2, then what you're saying is you haven't said enough about those points because you're going to then add on more support to each of the points to create the 8-page paper. And that's not what we want. We want you to create new points and add those as extra support for your opinion rather than adding on to the existing points that you already have. That doesn't mean that you can't add on some extra research, especially if you've just found it, you know. But the idea is that you will take away 1 point, or maybe 2, it depends on how many you have, and then add them back for the longer 8-page paper. So let me give you an idea again of what the assignment is. So remember, under course content is where you'll always go to look at assignments. And under course content, the argument assignment is in weeks 8 through 12. So that's what we're working toward right now. And essay number 1 argument assignment folders here. And once you have received my feedback for Journal 2, this is what you're working toward now. So Journal 3 is just 600 words of essay number 1 argument that you've completed already. It can be any 600 words. I don't care, I don't care if there's an introduction. I don't care if there's a conclusion. So long as you have 600 words and 1 source and an outline, that's all that matters for Journal 3. But you will be working toward this assignment. Okay, so 2 sources minimum. An outline should be started. The ultimate length of this is 4 to 5 pages plus a works cited page. MLA format, third person, meaning you don't say I unless you have to use yourself as a personal example, and you don't say you use one instead. And then going back to course content, after we have turned in the 4-page argument assignment, we will be adding points to our thesis to create essay number 2, the research argument project, which is what your entire thesis should encompass. So 8 to 10 pages, double spaced, plus a works cited page, 8 to 10 sources or more, one of which should eventually be an interview with someone who is an expert in that field. Okay, so that's what we're working toward. If you have any questions about this video, if I've confused you even further, please send me an email or call me. But your thesis that you have proposed for Journal 2 should be short and succinct. I will be giving feedback. Remember to always read the comment that is on your journal, not just the feedback on your grade for the journals, because otherwise you won't be getting any feedback from me. So read the comments on your journals to know what you should be working toward. But once you have received the go-ahead on your thesis statement, you should begin writing your argument essay, your 4-page argument essay, and you can take away one or more of the points that you proposed for your journal so that you can add those back later for the longer research argument. Okay, if you have questions, like I said, let me know, please. Thanks.